Well, girls, you are about to enter in 2021 the penultimate stage of your schooling. In New South Wales, there are 6 stages of schooling, with early stage 1 through to stage 3 taking place in the junior school, and then in the senior school, stages 4, 5 and 6. Stage 5 enters into a period of change and challenge for you. We also refer to them as the mad years, and Mrs. Caldwell will address that a little bit more detail in her presentation. This will be the first time where not all of the subjects that you will be studying are compulsory. You will get to choose. It will also be the first time for some of you perhaps when you'll experience being in different friendship groups, exploring different opportunities, learning new skills, having a go at things that you haven't tried or attempted before. And it's important that you keep a really open mind, girls, about new and different, because that creates opportunities into the future. We also like to hear your voice, and stage 5 in these middle adolescent years, girls' voices are really important to hear, and that is where our all girls advantage really shines to the fore. Because girls, you won't be competing with anyone other than your class friends for having your voice heard, whether it's in classes, in our co-curricular program, or in other experiences that we provide at the college. These middle years do provide that all-girls advantage. There are far fewer distractions than in other contexts. The culture of learning at our college and also the support in navigating difficult situations helps you develop the habit of mind, the strength of character, and the qualities of person that will really stand you in good stead in stage 6. This time of the year, each year sees me interviewing our Year 12 students, and in speaking with them and getting some highlights of their time at PLC Armidale, often the reflection has been that they found these middle years, particularly Year 9, can be a challenging year for many. However, the girls have all reflected on the support that they've received from teachers, from being engaged in activities at the college that really have stood them in good stead in stage 6, for feeling very much part of the place, for making a really worthwhile contribution, and also for being able to give back to a school that has offered them much as well. So as we go through this afternoon, it's not just going to be a focus on subjects, it's a focus on the whole package and what PLC Armidale offers for you girls, and also to parents, how we can work with you and support you in the process of parenting your daughters in these adolescent years. We are certainly committed to educating the whole person, body, mind and spirit, and I hope that that's evident in the rest of our presentation this afternoon. And I would now like to ask Mrs. Caldwell to join me on the stage. Thank you, Mrs. Caldwell.
Thank you, Mrs. Taylor, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, stage 5 is known as the mad years, the middle adolescent years. This is a time that is all about relationships and is when adolescents start asserting their independence. They're working out who they are, establishing their identity. They struggle with social interactions and wrestle with moral issues. The transition between childhood and adulthood can be a time of changing friendships and conflict, and this is all developmentally very normal, but can be a time that is very frustrating, confusing and concerning for parents, so these mad years can send us parents mad too. Here at PLC Armidale, we know and understand this important developmental stage and have many support structures in place to guide, support and enable our girls to grow and develop in a safe and positive environment. Flourish at PLC Armidale is our pastoral care program, which builds and supports the PLC Armidale community. We focus on the whole girl through a variety of practical activities and build positive relationships where students can feel both happy and healthy. Our practical, faith-based and positive psychology-focused approach to pastoral care is one of our college's core strengths. Our pastoral care program is based on the specific needs of each individual year group, academic stage and age, where everyone works together to create and maintain a caring and positive environment to encourage resourcefulness and resilience in all students, as well as a sense of social justice. Within this environment, our students are able to develop their self-esteem and confidence and grow as individuals. The Flourish program is sequential and starts in kindergarten and continues all the way through to Year 12. It also focuses on the transition phases between each academic stage, from junior school to secondary school, and from the middle years to the senior years and the HSC studies. The Flourish programme is supported by a pastoral care staffing structure. We are very passionate about character development going hand in hand with academic progress. Every member of staff is part of our pastoral care team. Each year group has a year patron, a year specialist, and support staff who will oversee the girls' journey each year. We also have a pastoral care leadership team who consists of the head of senior school, the college chaplain, the head of boarding, the college nurse, and the college psychologist. This team meets weekly to oversee the well-being of all students and to proactively plan for pastoral care lessons, presentations, and well-being days. Our Stage 5 programme has a strong emphasis on developing positive relationships and working on relationship restoration and maintenance. Year 9 is an exciting year at the college, and it is the years that the girls can undertake the right journey. This is an internationally recognised pastoral care programme designed to support the development of self-aware, responsible, respectful, resilient and resourceful young people. The programme also focuses on the rites of passage during this developmental stage, from childhood to teenager to adult. The right journey is delivered through our pastoral care lessons that are scheduled in our timetable and through wellbeing days throughout the year. Year 9 is also a very exciting time when the girls can start their Duke of Edinburgh's International Award and complete their Bronze Award. Having the opportunity to take on challenges and step outside of their comfort zones is very important in helping the girls develop their sense of self and identity. The Duke of Edinburgh's International Award supports the pastoral care programme and is also linked to the college's outdoor education programme. Year 9 will hopefully go to Camp Somerset on the Colo River north of Sydney for a week of adventure, challenge and fun in week 6 of next term. As the girls move into Year 10, the right journey continues with the woman-wise component of the programme. The focus developed their sense of responsibility and leadership, which links in beautifully with our peer support leadership training and preparation for assisting our new Year 7s as they enter the senior school each year. The Flourish programme also dovetails with the development of study skills and time management and organisation skills, which are very important for their transition into Stage 6. The author and journalist Madonna King discusses the transition between childhood and adulthood in her book Being 14, where she likens this stage to a lava lamp. The girls are all one part of one group, their year group, and as this year progresses, the lava lamp warms up and the groups divide into smaller groups, which represent different elective groups, different sporting teams, different ensembles, different interest groups, and different friendship groups. Sometimes friendship groups will divide into smaller groups, and some may join bigger groups, and others will continue moving around as their own small groups. Sometimes this movement between the groups can be seamless and harmonious, and other times the movement can be tumultuous and traumatic and will result in a change and breakdown in friendships. Social media and constant access to mobile phones and IT devices only exacerbates these friendship issues, which is why we also support our girls with a strong education in safe and appropriate use of IT and social media platforms. And we have a mobile policy here at school where the mobile phones would be switched off between 8:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon to enable the girls to actually be able to focus and not to be constantly distracted by their phones buzzing with messages in their pockets. Research has found that it takes up to 15 minutes to regain focus on a task after one single distraction, so it is hard to imagine how anyone can get anything done when they have their phones on and they're receiving hundreds of messages each day. Supporting your daughter's study habits, health and well-being at home, and setting rules and boundaries with mobile phones and the use of devices at nighttime is really important. Teenagers need around 9 hours of sleep each night. And again, research has found that those who have unlimited access to their devices regularly get very little sleep and then have increased friendship issues and mental health issues. And we see this play out at school because what happens online overnight is brought into the school in the morning, and we have to step in to sort it all out. Working together through these challenging times to support the girls is important to help them learn how to handle conflict, develop life skills, and learn the importance of developing positive relationships. I really enjoy talking to our Year 12 students at this time of the year as they reflect on their time at school, and they nearly always apologise for the mishaps and drama that they had in Years 9 and 10, and they laugh about it with their peers as they used to fall out over such trivial things which seemed so big then but really aren't. So the mad years is a phase that will pass. The road may be bumpy along the way, but we do make it through. And as long as we all work together as a united team and focus on developing positive relationships, our girls will be happy and healthy and able to succeed in all areas of life. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me or any members of your daughter's pastoral care team. So now, please enjoy hearing from some of our Year 12 students as they reflect on their time and they're in Stage 5. Thank you.
Well, year 9 and 10 are a really good time to be building your friendships because those are really important in your senior years, because preliminary exam, the course and then the HSE course is a team effort, and PLC has really helped develop that through pastoral care classes and the pastoral care days during year 9 and 10. And that connection with teachers has really helped.
Definitely, I think the positive environment here at PLC created by not only the staff, by the students, the environment as everyone's changing from year 8, 9 to 10, maturing and finding their own paths in like seeing what they want to do for older years and post after school. The PLC environment really was supportive and friendly and allowed you to find what that change was and supported you through no matter wherever you were going. I think that some of the school excursions here at PLC have really been highlights. Like in year 9 we went to Barrington, we went on bushwalks and canoeing, and it was really great to build connections with people in your year group and with people who you might not usually have classes with, just to connect with other people and find that you do actually have similar interests and stuff. It's really interesting.
Definitely excursions and outdoor education cements that support system that you receive at PLC. This is a very strong sisterhood, I think, that you can go talk to anyone in whatever year. Systems like peer support, that's always there. I think probably the sisterhood in the boarding house is really strong.
The boarding house is definitely strong. Being a younger boarder in 7 and 8, it can be very hard being away from home, especially if you only go home during the holidays, but having the older girls who were there for you all the time, always happy to talk, help if you're homesick, if you just wanted to chat. And I think especially now in year 12, I'm definitely seeing that there definitely is the sisterhood with younger girls coming to me and the other year 12s, that definitely we are there for them and there's a strong connection between a lot of the younger girls.
Good afternoon, parents and students. Next year will be the start of a whole new learning experience for your child. While some curriculum areas will continue to be studied throughout years 9 and 10, students will also be able to choose 3 additional courses to study as elective subjects. This will give them the opportunity to broaden their experiences and follow areas in which they have a passion. The process of choosing the right course is a personal one. Students are encouraged to be responsible and realistic when they use this freedom to choose. They are advised to select subjects that tap into their aspirations and interests, where they can utilise their enthusiasm and strengths to achieve to their potential and become self-motivated and lifelong learners. So this decision should not be made lightly and should definitely be in consultation with you as parents and teaching staff. It is hoped that participation in their elected studies will inform their choices for study in the senior years, as many Stage 5 courses, those that are studied in years 9 and 10, serve as a good introduction to Stage 6 courses. Years 9 and 10 are very important years that provide the grounding for senior studies. As such, students will be expected to complete assessment tasks and work diligently in all of their subjects. A student's results accumulate as all school assessments and classwork count towards their final grades when they leave school or when they go on to their Stage 6 studies. Therefore, it is very important that students apply themselves to all aspects of their schoolwork from the very beginning of the year. If a student does fail to complete set work or fails to meet the requirements that are set by NESA in years 9 and 10, then this could impact them moving into Stage 6 studies. In terms of eligibility, NESA lays down a set of specific rules that list the requirements for and define satisfactory completion of a course. As well as taking the necessary combination of courses, students are expected to apply themselves satisfactorily to their studies and demonstrate a sustained record of application of effort. Students must follow and complete the pattern of study determined by NESA for Stage 5. Students who complete Year 10 satisfactorily will receive a record of school achievement. The record of school achievement is a cumulative record of achievement that is based on students' achievements in years 9 and 10. It is a grade that is awarded based on moderated school-based assessment. And it is there to enable comparability between students in different schools. To make up the rosy years, we have the core or compulsory curriculum for Stage 5. So in years 9 and 10, students will study English, history, geography, mathematics, PDHPE and science. And in addition, students at PLC Armidale are required to study 3 elective subjects. The range of subjects offered as electives has been included in the booklet that you have received. There may be some amendments to some of the subjects in the booklet depending on staffing, and what I want to bring to your attention is the outdoor education pass one. How we structure that course will really depend on student numbers and the teaching staff that we have for that course. If you have any queries about that one, can you please send an email to me? Subject selection process and course availability. So while we intend to offer the widest possible range of courses, students and parents should be aware that it may not be possible to run certain courses if too few students select them. And in actual fact, no school can offer every course. The subject selection Google form that I will be sending out to students must be returned by the due date as indicated on the form. This form requires students to select 6 subjects and place them in order of preference, with 1 being the ones they would like to do the most and 6 being the one that they would like to do the least. Depending upon individual student choices, the school will then create a year 9 and 10 curriculum structure that suits the greatest number of students. Students will be placed into 3 subjects as a result of this process, and this will be based on their preferences. This will then form the basis of their timetable for years 9 and 10. Courses can be studied for 1 year or 2 years, so they can be referred to as 100-hour courses or 200-hour courses. This year, in 2020, we've encouraged girls to study 100-hour courses, and I've explained the meaning of that in the booklet. 100-hour courses mean that the girls will receive a grade for board-developed courses that are 100 hours in duration. So, for example, if a student has studied commerce and they've done that for the whole year and accumulated 100 hours of commerce, then they receive a grade for that 100 hours of commerce. We also run courses that we call school-developed courses. These courses do not attract a ROSA grade. They're courses that have been developed in school. They are programmed, they are rigorous, they are assessed, but they do not attract a ROSA grade. And again, if you would like more information on those, please feel free to contact me or ask questions in the question and answer section at the end. So essentially, the next step will be the Google form will come out tomorrow. The deadline for completion of the Google form will be next week. And then we will start to set the preferences and start to ask students to finalise their choices ready for us to construct the timetable. Thank you for being here this evening, even though it's remotely, and I do hope you enjoy watching our next presentation.
The study of agricultural technology, or ag as we tend to call it, provides students with these opportunities to really experience agricultural life through direct contact with plants and animals. You can look at different technologies and agricultural technologies, and ultimately it is the original STEM subject. So if you're really interested in science, technology, maths and engineering, this is the subject for you because it's the practical application of all of them.
I like to call it a subject that is the subject of life, because it's all about educating our girls on how the world works. We get to look at the economy, we look at the legal system, and for any parents that are out there, we also look at moving out of home and getting independence. And so commerce really gets into helping girls to figure out what kind of person they want to be in the business world. I would really encourage any girls that have aspirations of any kind of leadership in terms of management and jobs, things that they would like to do later in life, having an understanding of commerce, having an understanding of how business works, supply and demand, employment issues, all these sorts of things all are talked about and discussed in commerce.
I love teaching this subject. I love that it offers so much diversity and creativity in the one subject. From fashion design to interior design to architecture design, the students can choose an area of interest, or a focus area as we call it, that suits their passion, and follow a journey through in making a product.
I believe drama is the best subject in the world. It completely empowers us to understand our human condition. It helps us to create considered opinions about our world and responses to our world. In our world, which is so soaked in technology now, where we have forgotten how to look at each other, drama in it gives us those skills back. It helps us to communicate and to give eye contact and to be able to give impromptu speeches if you have to. For those meetings that you will have in boardrooms growing up, being able to speak on your feet, we give those skills in drama in Year 9 and 10.
Food technology, it's an elective offered to students doing stage 5, which is a practical based. It does have some theory, but it's a very practical based, and that's looking at skills in cooking and serving food and food preparation. It also gives the opportunity for students to think of their career options later on in life, because it leads on to doing hospitality if they decide to do it in stage 6. And they get the opportunity to cook foods from different cuisines, which is a variety of from different cultural background, and they explore more food and also they look at it from a nutritional perspective.
I think that the study of languages can be a really fun and rewarding addition to your elective program, especially if you've ever thought about travelling or maybe even doing an exchange. So through learning languages, you can engage in real-world communication and reflect on the really big ideas surrounding heritage and culture and identity. I also think that the study of languages strengthens literacy in your first language and supports participation in the global community, not just our own little bubble here at PLC. So I think the study of languages can really enrich what you do as a student and broaden your horizons infinitely.
So Music at PLC provides lots of opportunities for girls to develop their music in all sorts of different ways. One of the specialties that we really take pride in at PLC is that we're able to support high-level musicians to really embark on a very, very specialised program of study. And many of these students actually go on to study music at a professional level outside of school. We're able to support these girls through the provision of highly specialised programs through the chamber music program, through our string quartet, and through highly specialised tuition in composition, performance and musicology.
You should choose visual arts if you have an imagination and you want to experiment with using your hands and getting better at looking at things and looking at the detail of things, so being more observant of your surroundings and your environment, and if you travel, so yeah, being more aware of what's around you and looking at the detail and the beauty in things.
The subject I teach for an elective is called Critical and Creative Composers, and it allows students who are passionate about English to explore options outside the mainstream English course, and develops, as the name suggests, both creative and critical skills. So if you are interested in English and passionate about creativity, it's a really great course to allow you to expand your horizons.
Planet Earth is an amazing new opportunity that we have running at PLC. It is a course that allows girls to explore the world around them. So that's life on land, life below water, we look at transcontinental patterns, and we look at what it is to be a citizen in the world that we live in, looking at issues from around the world such as climate change and our impact on the environment. But really allows them to look at the power of individual action and how we can work together in small communities, societies, and as a world to find solutions to some of the issues that are affecting the natural and human world.
So It's All in Your Mind is a course that looks at psychology. It's a really exciting course. It's science. We look at method and how you're conducting experiments, ethics. It's a really, really useful subject in terms of your critical analysis and your skills in those areas. And I would just recommend it as a really solid introduction to both psychology and stage 6 skills of analysis.
If you love the outdoors, it is something that is worth choosing for being able to extend the opportunity of maybe Duke of Ed, and it's teaching you map reading skills, teaching you other things of the outdoors. Some girls have never done outdoor activities, so this is the first thing that they do. Some of these are our girls off the land that love to be outdoors, so they want that escape from just a classroom in 7 periods a day, so they love being outside. We've done camping opportunities and plans. We've done cooking plans for outdoors, so using the camp ovens. So it's been really good team building plus introduction to what they would need if they were outside.
Full Steam Ahead is going to be a STEM-based elective, and that's where we get to practice the science, technology, engineering and maths skills that you learn in stage 4 and also in integrated learning. So it develops on those skills so that the girls can learn and really make connections between what they're learning in a range of subjects and apply it to real-world scenarios. So this subject enables the girls to develop those really essential 21st century skills like critical thinking, communication, creativity, and it allows them to not only develop those and apply those to real world scenarios, but it also makes them much more employable and successful women in general. So for this Full Steam Ahead subject, the girls will have the opportunity to look at coding and apply their computational thinking to design websites and apps, and also in robotics. They will also have the chance to look at the laser cutter and 3D printer and look at how they can use that in a real world scenario. And then they will also get the chance to learn how their brains work and make the most of their brain capacity and apply that to their own learning.
To be honest, when I was choosing my electives, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school. So I chose based on what I was interested in, and I think that really helped me because now I'm seeing career paths that I would be interested in based on these subjects, which I've really found helpful. So I would recommend that you choose subjects that you like.
In pastoral care, it definitely helped, and especially knowing that you have teachers there all the time that you can go and talk to if you don't, like if you can't talk to your friends or your parents or anything about, there's always the teachers there, and you know that they're not going to judge you and they're just going to try and help you, and they'll point you in the right direction to know what you're going to do.
Well, welcome back, and I hope that you found that an informative video giving you a snapshot of some of the courses on offer in our Stage 5 students at PLC Armidale. The Stage 5 subject booklet has a more detailed overview of all of the subjects, but that was really just a snapshot of a number of them. I think in watching that video, I trust, like me, you were impressed by the teachers' knowledge of their courses, but also the enthusiasm that they have for the subjects. And irrespective of the subject or the teacher, that passion and enthusiasm certainly is what enables the girls to stay focused and engaged in their learning as well. And in discussions with our Year 12 students, again recently, that is certainly something that has been highlighted as a strength for them in their Stage 5 preparatory years, was very much the interaction that they had with teachers, really setting a good and solid foundation for their learning, which is fabulous because that's what school is all about. Well, we've had a number of questions come through and we have our panel here ready to respond to them. So I'm going to ask the first question of our Head of Humanities, Mrs. Kate Clinch. And the question is, can I start a language as an absolute beginner in stage 5? And what if it's not a language taught at PLC Armidale?
Excellent question to start us. Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Well, one of the glorious things about Stage 5 is you can start a language as an absolute beginner. There's absolutely nothing that says you have to have studied a language before. So you can pick up French or German or Spanish or Japanese or Chinese, all languages that we have students doing here at the moment. Some of those are taught here in class and others are studied via distance ed. So there are plenty of options for languages and different ways that you can access them. So if there's something you're interested in, please come and see me and we can have a good chat and figure out what might work for you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mrs. Clinch. Mrs. Ahern, a question for you. Are there any prerequisites for Stage 6 that students need to think about when choosing their Stage 5 electives?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's the skills as well as the prerequisites of the subject. So if you think about music or design technology, it would definitely be recommended that you do study those subjects in Stage 5 because they are highly skill-based, and those skills that you learn in Stage 5 are very, very useful and necessary for Stage 6 study. I would recommend, if you were looking at, if you wanted to do quite a heavy humanities load in Stage 6, that you did look at subjects like creative and critical composers, because there would be some excellent skills there to go over into the humanities. Likewise, if you're looking at STEAM subjects for Stage 6, then full steam ahead, and the skills that you would learn in that subject would be extremely useful for studying depth studies. But essentially, you can study any elective. You don't have to do commerce to study business studies or legal studies at Stage 6, but I think definitely those skill-based subjects, it would be really useful, and thinking about where your interests lie, and looking at those subjects that align with those.
Excellent, thank you. So a question then for you, perhaps Mr. Schumacher, if we could pass the microphone down this way, and while the microphone's being passed, please, if you have any questions, and I can see a number of them coming through even as I'm speaking, send them through to Sam Crick on the Zoom chat, and those questions can be posted. Likewise, if you have a question that you would like answered but don't want the question addressed publicly, again, you can use that same forum and we will address your question individually. But the question to you, Mr. Schumacher, is could you just explain again how the different length courses work and when would students change if they were studying a 100-hour or a 200-hour course from a timetable perspective?
Yeah, so 100 hours, you'll easily cover that in one 12-month period, choosing an elective. So provided that you maintain an elective for 12 months, then you're eligible for the 100 hours. If you then continue on to study that elective in Year 10, then you'll have enough for the 200-hour accreditation on the ROSA.
Mm-hmm. And while you have the microphone, someone's asked if you could give a bit more information about an elective course that would support the study of science.
Well, obviously the full steam ahead elective is probably the one most suited to that, and gives an opportunity to explore a particular area of interest in science as well. But I think sometimes we maybe forget about the importance of creativity in science. And some of those other areas that maybe don't make you think science immediately are actually critically important in developing those creativity skills that all of our best scientists have. So it might be that through studying design and technology or visual arts or even music, that you're actually developing fundamental skills that will support you in Stage 6 sciences or mathematics extension even. So they're worth considering, and obviously agriculture and Planet Earth have some really clear links to the sciences as well.
That's fabulous. Thank you, Mr. Schumacher. Perhaps if we pass the microphone across to Mrs. Clinch. And this question, Mrs. Clinch, is around creative and critical composers. Do I have to be a really good student of English to choose this as an elective?
Absolutely not. Critical and Creative Composers is about a love for English, and it's about wanting to develop those skills even further. So if you like English and it's something you would like to explore further, then it's definitely a place that you can come to. It's also a great place if you really do want to extend yourself, because as it's an elective, there's options for extension as well. But it is a course that caters to everybody, and if you like English, it's a wonderful place to be.
Thank you. Do you mind passing the microphone along to Mrs. Caldwell, because this is a question that Mrs. Caldwell has had considerable experience in dealing with. My daughter seems to have had a falling out with her friends and says she doesn't want to come to school. What should we do? Not at PLC.
Not at PLC. That's a very, very good question. This does happen, as I explained earlier. It is very developmentally normal for the girls to have fallings out with their friends. The most important thing to do is to keep supporting them from home and to let us know and to encourage your daughter to actually come and talk to us at school. The girls can actually talk to their peer support leaders, they can talk to their older girls. We were talking about the sisterhood earlier, the girls, Caitlin and Paris, were talking about having the sisterhood. So they're actually a really good network for the girls to have. But we also have our pastoral care teachers, we have our pastoral care team, a lot of staff who girls can actually come and get ideas, support, strategies. Sometimes it can be as simple as giving them some strategies, other times it may involve getting the girls together, sitting down, talking through what is happening. More often than not, it's a misunderstanding or a miscommunication, so once that's all cleared up, then everything is merry and happy and they go on their way. Sometimes the issues are a little bit more serious, however, and we do have to put mediation in place. And we also have the benefit of having our school psychologist as well, who is very, very helpful. So when the girls do need that extra care and support, they can go and see her. But yeah, we have lots and lots of support and structures in place, and lots of people that the girls can go to and talk to and get help. But most definitely they should come to school, and they should be enjoying school and feel safe that they can actually come to school.
That's a great answer. Thank you, Mrs. Caldwell. And again, an encouragement, girls, that we are here to support you, and there are plenty of opportunities for you to work through those things that are challenging and grow through those experiences. Could we pass the microphone to Mrs. Ahern? And Mrs. Ahern, the question here is, are the lines for electives going to be the same as they were this year? Because most of the Year 9s want to keep the same electives. How's that going to work?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Essentially, it's a difficult one to answer prior to having preferences in. So there is no data to go on. We do have the current Year 9 data, but we need to get the preferences in. So until we get the Google form filled out, we can't look at the lines. Where possible, where students want to complete 200 hours of a course, we will endeavour to make sure that that can continue. But until we actually get the data in, it's very difficult to have a definitive answer about what the lines will look like.
So while we're talking about lines, are you able to provide a response to this question? When we're selecting subjects on the Google form, do we have to keep in mind the Group A and Group B categories, or can we choose purely based on preferences?
That's a really good question. So last year when we introduced the school developed courses, and we sort of made them very different to the NESA courses in the booklet, we found that it was much easier to satisfy the most preferences by actually putting them together. So when we tried doing them separately, we actually found that we weren't meeting most of the preferences. So this year we've decided to just offer them all equally, and we just want a preference 1 to 6, and it really doesn't matter if it's a school developed or a board developed course, because that allows us to have much greater ability to satisfy the preferences.
And so can a student study 3 NESA developed courses and no school developed courses?
Absolutely. So there's absolutely no problem studying 3 NESA developed ones or 3 non-NESA developed ones. The only difference would be you have a ROSA grade for the NESA developed ones, and with the school developed ones there isn't a ROSA grade. Essentially the ROSA grade becomes quite important to those who are leaving school and who might be seeking apprenticeships. But if you're going into stage 6 study, the HSC actually, outranks the ROSA.
Thank you. There's another question here for you, Mrs. Ahern, and that is, a parent said, when I was at school we had a subject called careers. What happens for careers at PLC Armidale?
That's a great question. So we have a very large career focus in Stage 6, in Years 11 and 12, particularly Year 12, because we look at applying to university and the different bursaries and scholarships. In terms of Years 9 and 10, during pastoral care, I do come in periodically throughout the year for those essential times to talk to students. And for those students who are watching this in Year 9 going into Year 10 next year, I'll be with you to go through minimum standards in preparation for Stage 6. So most of our pastoral care program is about meeting the needs that we have at the time. So when we need to work on careers or subject choices and so on, then it will be scheduled into pastoral care time in Years 9 and 10.
And I'll just add to that, thank you Mrs Ahern, because several years ago we introduced the Moresby Career Profiling tool, and that is administered in Year 10. It is an online assessment task that we take the girls through during a session that is led either by Mrs Dare or by Mrs Ahern, and the girls then are profiled according to their own learner strengths and learner profile, their areas of interest and character strengths as well, and from that we receive quite a comprehensive report. We do endeavour to make that available to families prior to the Stage 6 subject selection evening so that that can inform choices for Stage 6. But the feedback that we've received since introducing that tool is that both parents and girls have found that a really helpful thing to do. So that's a Year 10 experience. This is a question for, perhaps while you've still got the microphone, Mrs Ahern. The moment we've been offering outdoor education as an elective in Year 9, but it's quite similar in some respects to our Duke of Edinburgh program for Year 9. Is there a chance that PASS could come back as an elective with more of an emphasis on the sporting skills?
Absolutely. We've looked at that course. So we've looked at a health and movement style of course. We've looked at outdoor education. We did run PASS, and we're perfectly willing to do that again. It really depends on staffing and who's staffing that. We've all heard the very sad news that we're losing Mrs Caldwell, who is our amazing PDHPE teacher. So really we'll be looking at how we deliver. It will be an active course. It would either be outdoor education, health and movement, or PASS. But it would really depend on who is going to be taking that course. But I'm more than happy to talk to the girls who are interested in that course about all of the options and what they look like.
Thank you. And this is a question for you, Mr Schumack. And the question is around levels of mathematics, because in Stage 4 it is a straight mathematics course, but Stage 5 it becomes two separate courses. Could you talk us through that, please?
Yeah, so in Stage 5 we have the opportunity to break up our mathematics into two different streams. The 5.3 mathematics stream is a course that's really designed to prepare students for the calculus skills that you'll need in advanced mathematics or extension mathematics in Year 11 and 12. The 5.1 and 2 course is a course that prepares students more for standard mathematics in Year 11 and 12, but it doesn't exclude them from study of advanced mathematics if they wanted to.
And how should parents help their daughters decide which level of mathematics, or is that a decision that we help decide?
Yeah, part of it will be based on how students are progressing in Year 8, and we'll have a look at that data and use that to determine which stream of mathematics would be most suited. Another part would be having a conversation with their current teacher to decide what pathway is best for them. And we do have the opportunity to adjust because they'll be running concurrently. If a student starts in one level of the course and we find that we need to adjust or move, that's relatively easy to do early on in Year 9.
And this is a bit of a related question, but now moving into science, because we know that in Stage 6, in Years 11 and 12, there are multiple science subjects, and we currently offer at least 4 of them at PLC Armidale. So in Years 9 and 10, what does the study of science look like, and how do students work out which course for Stage 6 they might be interested in?
Yeah, so the course structure involves an opportunity, roughly one term each of the 4 key strands of science, So there's an opportunity to really find out what direction students might be headed for Stage 6 science. So the biological sciences, physical sciences, chemical science and earth and space. So there's an opportunity there to I guess, have a taster in Year 9 and 10 and consider which direction may be appropriate heading onwards into Year 11 and 12. But I guess, and this theme sort of resonates across what we've talked about, the fundamentals is about skill development, and working scientifically are the skills in our science syllabuses, and they carry through from Years 7 and 8 all the way through to Year 11 and 12, and we build on those. So that's probably the one point of consistency that we carry through.
And that really goes to answer another question that's come through, which is around, do students in Year 8 going into Year 9, should they be considering a particular pattern of subjects to choose with a particular career pathway in mind? But I'm hearing from the panel that that is not as important as having a breadth of experience, developing the skills, developing the concepts and the understanding and the generalising of your learning. So girls, it's actually all about doing the best that you can in the subjects that you do, rather than having to have a perfect pattern of subjects in Year 9 and Year 10. But perhaps if we could then move to Mrs. Clinch, because related to the science question is, talk us through what English looks like in Stage 5, because you don't have separated English courses like we do for mathematics.
No, everybody does the same English course in Stage 5. Different classes will run slightly differently according to student need. But what we have in Stage 5 is really intensive skill development for English, because English is, of course, compulsory all the way through to HSC, so everybody gets to enjoy doing English all the way through until they do their final HSC exams. So Stage 5 is a time to develop the skills that we need for Stage 6 English. It's a fun course. It's got variety. We have to do a wide range of different types of texts and study in a range of different modes as well. So students will get to do lots of viewing and listening, as well as the traditional reading and writing as well. Stage 6 English takes those even further. So Stage 5 is the time to really work out what you like about English and where you want to be in Stage 6.
Excellent. And related to that, could you talk us through how history and geography work in Stage 5? Is it like Stage 4 or is it done differently?
It's similar but different. So Stage 4 history takes us from the ancient world to the modern world, and when we get to Stage 5 history, we start looking at the modern world, and we have a focus on Australia in particular and Australian history, and looking at how Australia has evolved in recent times. So rather than looking at ancient history or the medieval period, as students have done in Stage 4, we start looking more towards modern history. So between Stage 4 and 5, history covers all the way through. In terms of geography, it's a consistent kind of pattern of skill development. So students will do both history and geography for approximately the same amount of time in Stage 5.
Excellent, thank you. Mrs. Ahern, can I ask you to just address again about the school developed courses, because in the booklet it says that they're for 6 months only, but this year in 2020 they ran for 12 months. What's it going to be for 2021?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for 2021, and we've done it for this year as well, we've had students stay in a course for the whole year. It was too complicated to change courses halfway through the year. We couldn't just allow school developed courses to change because they were on lines with the board developed courses, and it's too difficult to calculate hours for giving grades if students are changing courses. So we've had a policy of having a full year of study in a course, and that will continue into 2021. I will check the booklet because that might be an older version of the booklet, so I apologise if that's out there, but definitely we are running a policy of we complete a course throughout the year.
Excellent. Thank you, Mrs. Ahern. And Mrs. Caldwell, the question has come through. Can Year 9 please have wellbeing days like they've done in previous years?
Yes, I'm sure that is possible. Every single year we do review the pastoral care program. We actually take on board the needs and the wants of the students as well. And I know the girls in Year 7 and 8 have really enjoyed their wellbeing days. Unfortunately, this year, due to COVID, we haven't been able to have our wellbeing days for Stage 5. We do normally have guest speakers who come up from Sydney and Brisbane, and they actually run really fantastic days for the girls. So we're hoping that they'll actually be able to be run next year, so you haven't missed out. So actually, yes, we do have wellbeing days, and we will be able to look at the structure of the timetable and look at having wellbeing days brought back in again.
Thank you. Well, our time is almost up, and I would like to thank our panel for being here this evening to answer those questions. Thank you to the parents and girls that have sent those questions through. It's always important for us to either receive feedback from you around our communication, but also to hear from you the things that you want to know, because if we don't hear your voice, we're not able to answer your questions or address those particular things of interest that you might want to share with us. So thank you to Mrs. Caldwell, to Mrs. Ahern, to Mrs. Clinch and to Mr. Schumack. Thank you also to our production team that have enabled us to zoom into your lounge rooms this afternoon for our Stage 5 information session. And I wish you all a very enjoyable evening, and girls look forward to seeing you at school tomorrow. Good night and thank you.